God would bring me out of this. I just knew that he would. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know anything, but I just knew that God was the only person that I could lean on and depend on, and I had to trust in him if I wanted to get out of my situation. And so I did that. I read my word. I fasted so much. I didn't even start fasting until I was homeless. Like, I didn't even know the power of fasting. I found God in my homelessness. We built a relationship together. We grew together. And I trust him more than I've ever trusted him. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Brittany Michelle. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, it's a little different. This video is a testimony. Y'all, God did it for me. This is an apartment testimony video. I'm gonna give y'all some details. I can't really go into all the details because I haven't been released to share everything yet, but I am gonna share with y'all a good chunk of what I can share with y'all, and it's a lot. So y'all, God provided for me an apartment in a season of my life where I was literally at the bottom. Like, I was literally at the bottom of the barrel. Like, and God provided me with an apartment. He literally made a way out of no way. So I guess I'm gonna start. I can't start this video and share my testimony without like taking y'all back so y'all can understand like really what's going on, so y'all can get the whole grasp of what's happening and how this is a testimony. So back in May 2023, it's currently May 2024 right now. Back in May 2023, I was basically evicted from my home. I got a text message basically saying, you know, I need to be out of the house where I was living in 7 days. And I wasn't just living here, y'all. Like, I was actually working from home too. So I was running my business out of the same house. Like, my business studio was there. Everything was there. My life was in this house. And I had to be out of it in 7 days. 7 days to pack, 7 days to find somewhere to live, 7 days to pack my personal things and my business things, which were both a lot, and 7 days to find somewhere to live, 7 days to come up with money. Like, 7 days. So that happened in May 2023. So from May 2023 to May 2024, I was basically homeless. I was homeless for an entire year. And when I say homeless, I don't mean like I wasn't on the streets. I didn't have to go move in a shelter or anything like that. Like, God provided, and I'm gonna tell you how Jehovah Jireh came through with that as well. But for 7 days, I mean for a whole entire year, I didn't have an address that I could call my own. I didn't have a place that was my home. When people would ask me, like, you know, when you gotta fill out paperwork or people need things to ship to you or whatever the case may be where your address is needed. For a year, when people would ask me what my address was, I did not have an address, a definite address to give them. I would be like, what is my address? Like, what do I give you? I don't know. I don't have an address. I'm homeless, literally. I didn't have a home to call my own for an entire year. So let me show you, let me talk about how God provided in that season as well, in my homeless season, how he looked out for me. I was distraught. When I tell you, I was just so clueless. I was like, God, what is happening? Like, everything was falling like right before my eyes. My business had dried up. Like, no orders were coming through. I went from having like multiple orders a month, like so many orders a month that I couldn't even handle it all on my own. I went from being in overflow to it all being dried up. I was in a famine. It was no rain in sight type of thing, right? I went from that to losing my home to losing my car. I'll share the car testimony at a later date too, but I literally had nothing. I had nothing. So I reached out to my sister, and this was also in a season where God was showing me how to be vulnerable and how to share my experiences and lean on the people that I had, that he brought into my life. I was just real vulnerable, and I just remember laying on the bed and I was texting my sister, and I was like, girl, I'm about to be homeless. I'm about to have no, and I wasn't telling her this for her to like welcome me into her home. I was really just sharing what was happening. Like, girl, I don't have no money. I'm about to be homeless. I can't believe what's happening in my life. Like, girl, I don't know what to do. I just gotta share this with you. Like, this is where I am in life right now. I just wanna tell you this. And I didn't have the urgency to tell anyone else this. Like, I didn't feel led to share this with anyone else. I didn't feel safe enough to share this with anyone else, but I felt safe enough to share with her. Like, she's my person. I told her, and immediately, she sent me money. Like, I didn't ask for a dime. she sent me money immediately, and I was like, it brought tears to my eyes. I literally cried because I was like, God, thank you, like, you know, for just providing, you know, even then, like, just providing that. Like, I was so grateful. And then not only that, but she also added, she was just like, you know, come live with me for a little while. Like, just come over here, you know, for as long as you need to get, you know, things together, just come here. And it was in my hometown, so it would be me relocating from Georgia to South Carolina, but I did it. I took her up on her offer, and I went and I stayed with her for just a few weeks. And then I moved back to Georgia. I moved back to Atlanta. I moved in with some family members. I won't go into deep detail because this isn't just my story, it's someone else's too. So I don't want to really share too much until I'm released, or if I'm released, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I just don't feel released to do that right now. But I moved in with some family members. I stayed there for 5 months. 5 months I was there in their guest room. And it's so much more detail that goes into this that I just cannot share yet. But when I get the opportunity, when God releases me, if he releases me to share it, I'm sure he will, because it's such a heavy part of the testimony. Y'all minds will be blown. But I stayed here for 5 months. And then after 5 months of being there in the guest room, I then relocated to another support systems home, and I stayed there until I moved here. So I stayed there from December until May, so 5 months there also. So for a whole year, y'all, an entire year, I was homeless. I had no home to call my own. It's really something that I never thought would be my story. I never thought that I would be homeless. Let me give you a little background. I'm the girl who grew up in the same house when I was like 4 years old. I grew up in that same house until I was an adult. I went to college and came back home to this house. Like, this was my home. I had stability. This isn't the home that I had to leave from, by the way. But I always had stability. Like, I always had a home. I've never not had a home. I've never not had any place to call my own ever in my life. So I never imagined that that would be a story that would be mine. I never imagined that that would be a test that God would take me through to have this type of testimony. Like, never in a million years that I think me, Brittany Michelle, would be homeless ever. Okay? And so this really took me by surprise. I was really shocked. I was really questioning, like, God, what are you doing? Like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? Like, what is happening? But along the journey, he showed me why it had to be this. Along the journey, he showed me what he was doing. He gave me a little sneak peek. Of course, I probably still don't even know everything, but I know enough to know that I needed this to open my eyes. I needed this experience. I needed this test to have this testimony. I needed to go through it. And it wasn't just for me, but it was for whoever else who might even watch this video. It might be to carry you through your journey, through your story. It could be similar. You could be going through something so similar to what I had to go through. And so he was showing me that my story isn't just for me, and if I just trust him, and if I just believe in him, and if I just stand on his word, he will pull me through. He is with me along the way, and he was, y'all. So throughout my homelessness, I never had a moment where I didn't have a roof over my head. I always had a home to go to. It just wasn't mine. It never felt like mine. I never felt at home. I never felt like any of these places were my own, because they weren't. Oh God, this story just gets so deep. I don't even know what to share and what not to share. It just gets so deep. So living in some of these homes, I had to leave. I couldn't just stay the entire time, and I'll go into detail later, maybe. I couldn't stay in these homes the entire time. So a lot of the times, these homes were just places that I could lay my head at night, and then I had to leave in the morning. And in the morning, I had nowhere to go because I worked from home. But I had no home to work from. So I had to sit in the car for hours. I sat in the car all day long because I had nowhere to go. My business was work from home. I didn't have a home to work from. I had nowhere to go. So I'm sitting in the car for hours, y'all. When I tell you I'm in the car for hours, I'm talking all day. I'm talking 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock at night. Sometimes even longer, sometimes 8 to 9 p.m. at night. So I'm in the car for all day long. I'm not over exaggerating. If you go back and you watch some of my videos, you'll see I do a lot of car videos, and that's because that's where I was. That's where I was just in the car, trying to find random places to go to. Every now and again, you know, you'll see videos of me at Starbucks or Panera Bread or something like that, because I had nowhere else to go. It would just be me in the car, my Bible. I would be talking to God. I would be working on the laptop. I would just be in the car all day. So this isn't just a testament of me moving from one home to another. This is me moving from the car to the house, really. I'm just so grateful. I'm just so blessed. I'm just so appreciative that God did not leave me in that season. Like, he didn't leave me there. Like, I'm just so grateful that he loved me too much to leave me there. Oh God, that is just so good. And I know that my homelessness could have been so much worse, because even in the midst of me not having a home, I live in Atlanta, so I'm driving past homeless people all the time, and they're literally on the streets. They're holding signs, they're begging for money, they're sleeping. They have umbrellas and tents and things set up and blankets set up on the sidewalks. So even in my homelessness, I was just so grateful to God that I didn't have to do that. I was just so grateful to God that I had a car to sit in. You know what I mean? Like, just so grateful that my situation wasn't as worse as it could be. My bottom wasn't someone else's bottom. Like, my bottom was still someone else's ceiling. So I was still so grateful to God that my story didn't have me being in a shelter or standing in line needing food. Like, there were moments, don't get me wrong, there were moments where I also didn't have money for food, where I had to like scramble up a meal, like try to figure out, you know, survivor meal type things, or involuntarily fasting, or you know what I mean? Like, it got to that point for sure. But God is so faithful, God is so good. I heard the story, like, I had no money coming in because my business was dried up, like the famine was real. I had no money coming in, I had nowhere to go. It was just so bad. I even got in a car accident during this time where the car was totaled. I'll share that. I'll share a whole car testimony video later. But y'all, God provided. So fast forward until now. There's a conference called the Permission Conference that was happening in my hometown, Columbia, South Carolina, by Jackie Green, Travis Green's wife. And I wanted to go, but all the tickets were completely sold out. And I just asked God, I said, God, if it's in your will, please provide a way for me to get these tickets. And I messaged my sister because she goes to the church and she's a believer, and we pray together, and we know that there's power in multiples. So I asked her to stand in agreement with me that if it's in God's will, to just pray that I'll be able to go to this conference, that tickets will be provided for. And God favored me, and he provided me with tickets to go to this conference last minute. When I tell you last minute, the conference was on Friday and Saturday, and Sunday really. I got my tickets on Wednesday. I asked my sister on Tuesday to pray with me and stand in agreement with me, believing for these tickets on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I got the tickets. On Thursday, I booked my rental. On Friday, I was on the road to go to this conference. It was all last minute, but God acted quickly. It was urgent. And I'm going to tell you, that is the thing for what he's doing for me right now. It's definitely urgency. It's definitely quickness, swiftness, speed. Like, he's doing things with speed. He's doing things fast. And I'm going to talk about fasting too, because that is a very vital part of this testimony. So I go to this conference, and I'm just coming with expectancy. I'm just coming expecting to receive something from God. Really, I just wanted to be in a room with believers. Like, I would just, you know, I would praise and I would worship on my own in my room. But I wanted to just be in the environment, because I just know what it's like to have a room that is so filled with the Spirit, with so many believers. Like, I just know what that feels like. I know what that experience is like, and I wanted to experience that. So I came with full expectancy, just wanting to, you know, just be in the room and hear from God and feel his presence and all the things, right? On Friday, we get to the event, and my sister has a friend that's at the front of the line. So we were able to we skipped the line. Basically, we skipped the line. Like, okay, listen, y'all, this whole video is gonna be prophetic. This whole video is deeper than the surface. So when you're listening to this video, you might even want to play it back. When you're listening to this video, catch the little things. Catch the things in your spirit, for real. So we were able to skip the line, and we were able to sit on the front row of the section that we were in. So we didn't have VIP seats, so we weren't at the front. We had general admission, but we had priority general admission. And I didn't even know, but the tickets that were gifted to me were priority. So I was able to sit in the best of the worst seats, so to speak. The best of the worst. So we were in the front row of general admission. I was like, we was just happy about that, you know what I'm saying? Just happy to be in the front row. We just happy to be in the room. So we praised, we worshiped. It was a great time. So the next day, same situation, but we weren't able to skip the line. We were running a little bit behind this next day. And so when we got to the event, we had to wait a little bit in the back of the line. And when we got inside, our seats were about 3 or 4 rows behind where we sat the first time. We weren't upset at all. We weren't mad. We were just grateful that we could see and we could hear, and we were in the room. We were cool with it. And so we had to go on intermission. On intermission, we left our jackets and our notebooks in the seats so we can come back and get to our same seats. Came back from intermission, we sat in our seats. We did the same thing for the second intermission. But this time, when we came back, our things were moved and someone else was in our seats. And we was like, dang. So I just walked over and I was like, hey, you know what? We had some jackets and notebooks in the seat. Do you know where they are? And so they told me they were in the merch store. So I went to the merch store, got our things, and we just sat on the back row. We weren't upset, we weren't tripping. Like we knew that it could be, we knew to expect that our seats possibly could be taken. So we weren't really tripping. So we just went to the back row, we sat down, we praised, we worshiped, we did our thing. After praise and worship was over, Tim Ross was beginning to speak. 1 to 2 minutes into the session, there were these workers or servers behind us, and they were talking, and I was like, God, I really want to focus, I really want to pay attention, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm very distracted right now. I was trying not to get irritable. I was just trying to like pay attention to the message and not to get distracted by the servers speaking in the back. One girl came up and she was like, y'all have an emergency. She was talking to the other servers. She was like, y'all have an emergency, it's urgent. There's 3 empty seats in the front row, the very first row, there's 3 empty seats. And in my mind, I'm like, how is this an emergency? Like, girl, shh, okay? I guess the servers, you know, like, they were like, okay, cool, whatever, and they didn't do anything. She came back, she was like, y'all, it's an emergency, it's 3 seats in the front row, like, what y'all gonna do? And in my mind, I'm like, how is this, I'm really clueless, like, how is this urgent? Like, how is this an emergency? Like, how does this need immediate attention? Like, it's 3 empty seats, okay, cool, whatever. 2 minutes later, I get a tap on my shoulder. One of the servers in the back, she was like, excuse me, she was like, it's some seats in the very first row. The very first row, do you want to move up? And I was like, yeah, I will gladly move up. So she asked my sister that was sitting beside me, and then another lady that was sitting beside me, and she asked us all. And it was 3 seats, enough for us 3. And they escorted us up to the very front row. Everybody was sitting down. The service had just started like 3 minutes ago. Everybody's sitting down, paying attention to Tim, and in the midst of this, he's moving us up. They're escorting us up to from the back row to the very front row. And as we sat down, God said, this is where you belong. God said, get used to this. This is your new. This is where you belong. He said, get used to how it smells up here. Get used to what it looks like up here. Get used to what it feels like up here. This is where you belong. What's prophetic about this situation is I told y'all on the first day we were able to skip my sister's friend. The second day, things were a little weird. She wasn't speaking to us. Out of nowhere, it was very random. It was very weird and awkward, but we didn't, you know, we don't feed into things like that. So it was just like whatever, you know. And God gave me a whole lot of words for that situation because it was so prophetic. I will bless you in the presence of your enemies. I will bless you in the presence of your enemies. Everybody was sitting down, so you couldn't help but to see us move forward. You couldn't help but to see us being escorted from the back to the front. Everybody in the room who was paying attention or who was on that side could see, because that you just see people, you know, while you're sitting down and things are moving and you just see. I will bless you in the presence of your enemies. And also, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So I say this to tell you also, like, if you feel like you're at the bottom, if you feel like you're at the back, Galatians 6:9, don't get weary in well doing, for in due time you will reap your harvest. Like, you will, like, just hold fast. Like, he will move you from the bottom to the front. He will take you from the back to the front. And that is what he did with me. rewind back a little bit. Before we moved, during praise and worship, before that session happened, God told me, as a matter of fact, I'm about to find it. I have to change the cameras, y'all, so forgive the quality difference, sound difference, whatever difference may come with this. I have to really get through this testimony because I have to go in a few minutes. So, okay, where did I leave off? I don't even know at what point it stopped recording. So I toured this very same apartment layout. I did not have in mind that I was going to move. I just really wanted to get a feel for it. And so after I toured all those apartments on Tuesday and none of them was the one, on Wednesday, God was like, go back to the one that you toured. So I'm like, you know, the price, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but I obeyed. I went, I toured, and everything kind of just lined up, like everything lined up. From the apartment number, it signifies something in my life. The zip code, the address, like everything was easy, like everything flowed, everything was perfect, like the quality. The lady said that I was going to be the very first person to live in this apartment. Months ago when I was touring an apartment, you know, just for the heck of it, I was like, if I get an apartment, I want to be the only one to live in it. Like, God, I don't want to have to live in a space that somebody else lived in. Like, I want to be the first one to have lived there. Forgot all about that prayer, and I was the very first person to live in this apartment. It's like new construction, you know what I'm saying? Everything is new, the quality, the modern, the aesthetic is all me. Like, down to the lobby, to the amenities, it's like all me. It just makes sense for my style, for my personality. And I asked God, I said, God, if I'm gonna move, like I wanna move, like I wanna do it. And I want it to be in a place where it fits me, it fits my style, it fits my personality, it makes sense to the woman that I am, to the woman that I'm becoming. Like, I want it to make sense. Y'all, this apartment complex makes sense. From the business hub to the fitness center to everything, like the aesthetic everywhere, the quality everywhere. It fits my lifestyle. I work from home. They have a whole business hub for people who live here that work from home. So if I want to step outside of my apartment complex and go to work, I can go to the business hub and work there. It fits everything about me and I love it. The shower, like, I'm gonna show y'all. I might do a little B-roll in here, or I might just do a whole separate unfurnished apartment tour because I don't have any furniture in here right now. I might do that. Let me know, comment down below if you want to see an unfurnished apartment tour. I would love to do one, but I don't want to do one if that's not something that y'all want to see. So just let me know, comment down below, and I'll do it. And so God is just so good. I just want to share. I told God while I was in my homelessness, I said, God, if you just deliver me from this, God, if you just rescue me from this, God, if you just pull me out of this situation, I promise I will tell everybody. I promise I will share my testimony. I promise I will tell everybody that you did it for me and how you did it for me. God, I promise you did this. This was all you, and I will share my testimony, and God, I will give you all the glory. Just bring me out of this. And he did, and so I'm just keeping my word. I'm holding up to my end of things, and I'm sharing my testimony. I'm telling you how God did this, and if he did it for me, he will do it for you. God is no respecter of people. And while I was in my homelessness, I stood on his word. I trusted God the entire time. I knew that this was a page in my book, but this wasn't my full book. This wasn't the whole thing. I just knew this was a chapter. I just knew that this will be over. Like, in due time, God will bring me out of this. I just knew that he would. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know anything, but I just knew that God was the only person that I could lean on and depend on, and I had to trust in him if I wanted to get out of my situation. And so I did that. I read my word. I fasted so much. I didn't even start fasting until I was homeless. Like, I didn't even know the power of fasting. I found God in my homelessness. We built a relationship together. We grew together. And I trust him more than I've ever trusted him. And don't get me wrong, y'all, because in the last stretch of things, when I was moving, like that last stretch where I was waiting on that approval, while I was waiting on things to come through, my faith was getting a little shaky. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, I don't know. Like, unbelief really did creep in, and it was so heavy. Like, it's like at the brink of things, the enemy would try to throw his best darts. Like, he'll try to take his best shots at the brink of things. And he tried, he really did, but I was really adamant on Okay, God, I trust you. Okay, God, I trust you. God, I just want to trust you. God, please heal my unbelief. God, please take whatever doubt is in me, uproot those seeds. God, I just want to trust you. I want to have faith. I want to believe that you are a keeper of your word, God. And I was just like really adamant about wanting to trust him. Even in my unbelief, I really wanted to trust God. And I think he saw my heart. I think he saw my heart. Even in the midst of my unbelief, even in the midst of me doubting, I think he saw my heart and he knew that I wanted to trust him. And so God, he blessed me. He blessed me. And you do not have to be perfect for God to bless you. God will bless you in your imperfections. He will bless you in your mistakes. Like, God will bless you because he loves you. And he reminded me of that, like, remember my love. That's what he said. He said, I'm doing this for you because I love you. Like, not because of anything that you did, but I'm doing this for you because I love you, and I'm doing this for my glory. I'm doing this for me. Like, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, he will bless you for him. Like, he will bless you for his sake, not yours. So just trust God, believe him, stand on his word. I stood on his word, y'all. I believe Matthew 6 where he said, if he provided for the sparrows, if he clothed the lilies, how much more will he do for me? How much more does he love me? Jehovah Jireh, he's my provider. And if he does it for the birds, if he does it for the flowers, he will surely do it for you. He will surely do it for me. I stood on Matthew 6. I stood on his word. I stood knowing that God got me. He's my provider, and I trust him. And so, y'all, one more thing before I wrap this up. A few months ago, not even that long ago, I gotta go look and see when that was. Like a month or so ago, I did a fast with a friend. I said, you know what, I'm tired of my situation. I'm tired of living like this. Like, this can't be the life God has for me. It just can't be. So we decided that we were going to take a weekend and we were going to fast. We were going to fast for this specific, because we were both in the same situation. We were going to fast for our way out of this. And y'all, when you fast, things happen fast. Things happen quickly. Things happen quick for me. Like, I just did that fast like a month ago, and 2 weeks later he gave me a word, and 2 weeks after that he placed me in my home after being homeless for a year. Like, y'all, this is crazy to me. God will provide. Don't worry about how, don't worry about when, don't worry about where. He'll give you all the answers. You just trust him. You lean on him and not your own understanding. Proverbs 3 and 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord. Put all of your trust in God. Acknowledge him. He will direct your paths. Like, he will do it for you. He will show you where to go. You just lean on him and not on your own understanding. He will direct your path. God is so good. I'll be back with some more. If y'all want me to share more, I'll get a little bit more into it. But God is good. He blessed me with this apartment after being homeless for an entire year. It's insane. Like, it's so surreal that I'm here. Like, it still don't even feel real sometimes. Like, I broke down. I sat on that countertop and I broke down. Like, God, I'm really here. Like, I'm living in the prayer. I'm living in the promise. God is a promise keeper. And he will bring, if he told you he's going to bring you out, trust and believe he's going to do it. He's going to do it. God is good. Thank y'all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Share this with anybody that you know this could touch. Anybody who you know is going through a situation where it seems impossible. Share this with them, because we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, the power of our testimony. Testimonies are so real. They're so needed, because that's how we overcome. Y'all watch so many apartment testimony videos, so I just knew I needed to make my own. I watched so many apartment testimony videos, and it blessed me to see that God did it for them, and me knowing that if God did it for them, he could do it for me, because he's no respecter of persons. And just like they're his children, I am too. Just like he loves them, he loves me too. So share this with anybody who you feel like needs this. Like, don't hold out on them. But like, comment, share, and subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. God gets all the glory. He gets all the praise. He gets all the honor from me. And I hope he gets it from y'all too. But until next time, see you guys later. Bye.